T-1 light tank is a fascinating piece of early American armored vehicle development, representing the initial steps taken by the U.S. Army in mechanizing its ground forces. Designed in the interwar period, the T-1 was not widely produced or deployed, but it laid essential groundwork for future light tank designs like the M3 Stuart and M24 Chaffee. This tank was developed in the early 1930s when the U.S. military was still experimenting with the idea of fast, mobile armor that could support infantry and exploit breakthroughs. The T-1 was intended as a light, nimble vehicle that could be easily transported, deployed quickly, and maneuvered across a variety of terrain. It was part of a broader shift in military doctrine, moving away from the slow, heavily armored world. War-eye tanks and toward speed and flexibility. The T-1 featured a compact, relatively simple design. It was lightly armored, enough to protect against small arms fire and shrapnel, but not much else. This was consistent with its role. It wasn't meant to go head-to-head with other tanks, but rather to perform reconnaissance, provide infantry, support, and exploit gaps in enemy lines. Its small size also meant it could navigate tight spaces, forested areas, and rough ground where heavier tanks might struggle. Under the hood, the T-1 was powered by a relatively modest engine, typically a 6-cylinder gasoline power plant, which gave it decent mobility for its time. Its suspension system was one of the more advanced aspects of the design, incorporating features that would later influence the development of more successful light tanks. Despite its simplicity, the tank could reach reasonable speeds, making it suitable for scouting and fast attack roles. One of the notable characteristics of the T-1 was its small turret, usually mounting a single 30 caliber or 50 caliber machine gun. This limited firepower highlighted its intended use as a reconnaissance vehicle, not a frontline brawler. Some prototypes included additional armament configurations, but none made it past the testing and evaluation phases. Inside the tank, space was extremely limited. Like most early light tanks, it had minimal ergonomic consideration, and the crew, typically 2 or 3 men, had to operate in very cramped conditions. The lack of sophisticated optics, communications equipment, and modern fire control systems also reflects the early stage of tank technology at the time. In terms of legacy, the T-1 didn't make it to mass production, and it never saw combat. However, its development provided essential lessons for American armored vehicle designers. The experimentation with light chassis, drivetrain layouts, turret design, and crew ergonomics informed the more refined and combat-ready light tanks that would be used during World War II. While the T-1 light tank may not be widely known outside of military history circles, it remains an important step in the evolution of American armored doctrine. It's a reminder of how innovation often starts with trial and error, and how even seemingly minor